Welcome everyone to my review of Archie Sonic the Hedgehog issue 28. This is the second part of a story that began in issue 27, and I highly recommend looking at that review before continuing with this one. However, if you need a quick refresher, last time Sonic got amnesia and Robotnik tricks him to his side. He lets Sonic loose to find the quote-unquote evil freedom fighters and take them out. A transmitter was placed on the Hedgehog that would allow Robotnik's demolition tractors to roll over Knothole. Thanks to his gut instincts, Sonic bypassed every trap the freedom fighters threw at him and is ready to confront his teammates. Sally tries playing it cool with Sonic, asking him if there's anything wrong, not feeling well, that sort of thing. Sonic says he's fine, before he starts his attack. He wails on Rotor before turning his attention towards Sally, though she proves to be a little more challenging for the Hedgehog. Tails and Buddy arrive and are confused to what's going on before the latter decides to intervene. She uses her robo-legs to pin Sonic to the ground, with Tails and Sally joining in. This only makes Sonic angrier. He spin punches his way free, taking out Sally and Buddy in the process. Tails recovers in the air, but he's only delaying the inevitable. Yeah, looks like Robotnik might win this one. Now, for some reason, despite seeing Sonic victorious in Knothole Village, Robotnik doesn't have the exact coordinates. The excuse is, the Freedom Fighters have a low-level jamming signal that's affecting the transmitter. Okay, the jamming was briefly mentioned in the previous issue, but it's only now that this plot point is really brought to the forefront. Makes you wonder why he doesn't just use the video feed to track Sonic. Then again, I am not a technician. As Robotnik hopes that Sonic's backtracking will help pinpoint Knothole's location for his demolition tractors, he loses the signal again. This time it's due to someone shutting off the power. Sonic's ambushed by 5 figures, who hope to use the darkness to their advantage. Based on the silhouettes, the 5 attackers are Antoine and Sally's trainees from her miniseries, Arlo, Hamlin, Penelope, and Dylan. Sonic proves that not even the darkness can stop the Hedgehog, but he's not as alert as he's successfully knocked out by Dylan's sneak attack. Sonic wakes up in the infirmary with his memory restored. He doesn't remember what happened after the SWAT bot ambushed him. The good news is, Rotor's X-ray was able to locate Robotnik's transmitter. Realizing his actions are endangering everyone, Sonic goes off to make amends. Alone. He emerges from the tree stump entrance in order to allow Robotnik to re-establish a link with his transmitter. As Sonic heads back inside, Robotnik has snively locked the tractors onto the signal, unaware that Sonic's deliberately going down the wrong tunnel. While Sonic was insistent that he do this alone, the other Freedom Fighters decided to help anyway. Tails flies above the tractors, relaying their position to Sally. She and Rotor, along with some tunnel diggers, are hard at work making a false tunnel, and when Sonic spots them, he immediately appreciates the help. They lead the tractors towards a cliff, and they fall to their destruction. With the danger over, the Freedom Fighters will get to work making a new replacement tunnel for the one they've destroyed, and Sonic apologizes for his actions throughout the story. Meanwhile, in Robotropolis, Robotnik is angry that even with the memory loss gambit, he's still lost. Funny that Robotnik never figured out that Sonic got his memory back. He'll eventually find out off-panel. There is a backup story, but as I mentioned last time, this one and the one in the next issue serve as lead-ups to the Tails miniseries. So just like the Sonic in Your Face special and the Sally miniseries, I will summarize the backups when I review the Two-Tailed Fox's 3-part special. Plus, the backups themselves are a 2-parter, so it'll make it easier for me. What I will say about the story now is that it follows up from the events of issues 27 and 28's main story, with Tails storming off because of Sonic's actions, and Sonic trying to explain the memory loss, and Robotnik tricking him. This is significant because that 2-parter, remember, was written by Penders, and the Tails 2-parter, along with his miniseries, is written by Mike Gallagher. Yeah, we got some continuity between different writers. Kinda. Gallagher's Tails is furious, while showing signs that he's been roughed up courtesy of artist Dave Manick. Pender's Tails seemed more collected during his monitoring of the tractors, and looks fine. But then, Art Mahaney drew that story. Besides the different writers' take on the character, I may have an in-universe idea as to why Tails acted differently between stories, but I'll save it for the miniseries review. Don't want to give away too much right now. One more thing I will say about Tails' backup story for now is Gallagher uses another bit of continuity that Penders previously established, and it will affect Tails for a good portion of the series. Chances are, a good number of you already know what I'm talking about. Again, I will elaborate further in the miniseries review. Looking back, Robotnik was right about the Freedom Fighters' hesitancy. Not when it comes to trying to stop Sonic from entering Knothole, but in actual combat. Yeah, they don't go all in to physically subdue Sonic. Like for example, Bunny knocking out Sonic with her robo-limbs when she had the chance. That mistake cost her. I will give Sally and Tails props for holding out as long as they did, with their acrobatic and flying skills respectively. But even they were no match for Sonic. Poor Rotor didn't even stand a chance. It seems Sonic's training with the auto animations really paid off. However, the training did not prepare Sonic for a fight in the dark against Antoine and Sally's trainees. Though Sonic quickly adapted. I actually don't mind Sonic getting defeated by these guys. The trainees don't have any personal attachments to Sonic, and Antoine was probably looking for a little payback for all the pranks Sonic pulled on him in the past. Besides, as I alluded to in the Sally miniseries, the point of having a backup group of Freedom Fighters is in case the primary team is incapacitated in some fashion. Hey, it's better than creating new characters out of whole cloth to fulfill one specific purpose, something Penders often does in his writings. The downside of using the trainees here is, if someone were to read the issue without knowledge of the Sally miniseries, they might be wondering, who are these guys with Antoine? It's definitely another case of read this other side material to understand who they are thing. And it's going to become more and more frequent as the series goes on. I do like how Sonic, once he gets his memory back, tries to atone for his mistakes, and the Freedom Fighters later helping him. The way I see it, the team doesn't blame Sonic for his actions while suffering from memory loss, and they essentially forgave him for his actions. Well, most of them anyway. Final score for parts 1 and 2 combined is an 8. I give credit where it's due, and Penders, given all that he will do in the future, does alright here. Making the story a two-parter helps with the pacing. Not everything is crammed into one issue, and it allows the story to breathe a bit. My only big beef is how the button is reset on Knothole's location. Gotta keep it a secret for now. Robotnik may have lost Sonic as a minion, but he's about to temporarily gain a new one in the form of Sally. We'll see how that happens when we get to issue 29, which will also feature the comic debut of another SatAM character. I'll see you then. I just want to say, there is something amusing about the editor calling himself the King of Continuity in the Archie Sonic book around this time. Think about it, won't you?